I'm your host T.
I'm Tasha.
And today we are continuing our journey with the Legend of Zelda series, in which today we're doing a sponsored video from our Patreon Novel Defender, in which they have requested that we do, this is Link's Adventure, or the story of Majora's Mask. And so as we've been continuing our journey with the story from Major Link, this is going to give some backstory as far as what happened to Link after he came back from his battle with Ganon and returned back to his timeline, because apparently he lost his fairy and he was searching for him, and then he ran across like this I can't remember what he's called, Skull Kid or something,
The black elf.
yeah that was like dancing in the woods and everything. So this is gonna go over that portion of the story.
Okay, cool.
But let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go.
And finding Navi. However, a new story begins to take place, one that would shape Link's destiny. A curious and mysterious happy mask salesman is something. Who reads that fast?
Here, at the end of things, I can still feel its power.
Is that the mask?
Probably the previous wearer of the mask.
When I found it, I could sense the doom of a dark omen brewing. And now, that imp has it.
Oh, he's like a mask trader.
He's a mask salesman. Oh.
No, thank you.
Oh, no, that's right.
Oh, he put it on.
Oh. Oh. Yikes.
should have heeded the ancient's warning. Nothing can withstand its power.
He's flying.
Levitating.
Yeah, same thing.
It's not. Skull Kid, now possessed by Majora, has cursed the moon to crash in the city of Termina in 3 days' time. While Majora was wreaking havoc and misery on the citizens of Termina. God, who's supposed to read that fast? Next time, pause it so I can read it.
Okay. You want me to go back?
Kinda, so I can,
Okay. All right.
know.
Go back. You can find out what exactly is going on. All right.
Well, not that far.
Well, that was cool. It's levitating in the air.
Yeah.
All right. So you know this part.
Yep.
Here we
While
go.
Majora was wreaking havoc and misery on the citizens of Termina, Link accidentally crosses paths with the evil being. Link brings it upon himself to save the people of Termina, not knowing the weight of this decision and how it would change him for better or worse. Oh. Wow. Majora's Mask, narrated by Rescue the Princess. Dawn of the first day. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Ooh, fireworks.
Majora's Mask isn't just a game with a gimmick, a time loop. It's not about collecting cool masks. It's not about getting the chance to play as a Deku, Goron, or Zora. It's not even about defeating Skull Kid, stopping the moon, and saving Termina. It's about much more than that. It's an extended metaphor, and one that we'll explore shortly. We cannot discuss Majora's Mask without mentioning its central mechanic, the 3-day time loop, as well as its likely inspiration, the movie Groundhog Day.
I'm sorry? What was that again?
Oh, I was supposed to
I'm a
finish that
god.
movie.
You're a
It's
god.
so good.
Right.
Bill
It was
Murray
good.
plays Phil Connors, a self-centered
watch it
guy
tonight.
forced into living the same day over and over again.
What if there were no tomorrow?
No tomorrow. That would mean there would be no consequences. There would be no hangovers. We could do whatever we wanted.
After exploiting citizens, stealing money, and committing suicide, he realizes that he has the power to greatly know and help those around him. Groundhog Day is one of the few films to realize the time loop, and Majora's Mask is the only video game to bring the idea to complete fruition in an interactive experience. It's initially frustrating knowing that no matter what you do in 3 days' time, most everything goes back to the way it is. You play your ocarina, and just like that, you are back to the morning of day 1.
Wow.
The moon is back in the highest part of the sky, slowly descending, and everyone else in Termina doesn't know you. You are alone. Personally, I first hated Majora's Mask. Why on earth would you make a game where you have to start all over and over and over again? I felt very alone and alienated. Nobody really knew who I was. After the time loop cycled back, I was just some green-clothed stranger again. It made me feel indifferent. No, worse than indifferent. I just didn't care about anything in the game. That's the real curse. It's not the time loop, but your subsequent feelings and attitude from it. But there was a time in the game when I realized that I know everybody in and out of Termina. I know who they are, what their personalities are like, and what they will be doing at each minute of the day. So what does one do with such power? If you knew something bad was going to happen, would you prevent it? If you had all the knowledge in the world, would you use it for good?
Yes.
No.
Well, maybe you wouldn't, but for me, it feels like purgatory if you're living the same days over and over
Yeah.
again. But
Why not
maybe
make it
it's a
interesting?
lesson. No, see, that's your problem. Starfield? Is that what you was playing?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all don't want to see him playing that game, but yeah, it feels like maybe there's a lesson to be learned if you're living the same day over and over again like that.
Right.
Where Groundhog Day has a man repeating a relatively regular day in a small town, Majora's Mask takes place 3 days before the possible annihilation of Clocktown, creating a much more foreboding atmosphere, filled with fear and despair. And it is here in Termina where Link's title as the hero of time is truly tested and realized. The time frame does several things that place Majora's Mask storytelling a nick above other entries into the franchise. It affects the pacing, creates a real sense of urgency throughout Link's journey. You have a limited amount of time to experience and accomplish as much as you can before time runs out. You're constantly aware of the passage of time. The moon draws closer, the clock tower ticks away, and the music grows more and more foreboding as the days pass. You encounter people at their most vulnerable, either struggling to make the most of their final days, preparing for a festival that may never happen, or else suffering and in despair. Everyone knows that they're probably not going to make it out of this alive, but it is in these moments that you are given the chance to form personal bonds with these characters with names, schedules, and their own small stories to tell, which makes it all the more painful to watch as they all face their hardships again and again. No matter how many times you try to help those in need, their problems just keep coming back. They're beyond help, and beyond the reach of a hero. Unless you can break the cycle, they're doomed to suffer eternally. Ultimately, as the player, you may even consider ignoring everyone and heading straight for the main goal of defeating Majora. But it's hard to ignore the people when you know you have the power to help them, however briefly. Feeding a helpless Goron or giving a soldier the eternal rest he deserves. It's about helping people even though it's ultimately useless. Offering them a glimmer of hope is what matters.
That's deep.
Behind all this suffering is one of Zelda's more interesting antagonists, Skull Kid and his stolen mask. Skull Kid is the same imp whom you befriend in the Lost Woods in Ocarina of Time. Some time ago, he befriended the 4 giants of Termina. When the giants left Skull Kid to go to the 4 corners of the land, he was deeply saddened and lonely, for they were his only friends. He returned to the Lost Woods and hung out for a while. He kept to himself in a grotto where few traveled. This is where the events of Ocarina of Time pick up. Skull Kid then returns at some point to Termina. He befriends Tattle and Tail, the sibling fairies, travels back to the Lost Woods, and steals the mask. So why does he steal Majora's Mask? Is it pure mischief? Or is he motivated by something?
Maybe it was fate.
The way I see it, Skull Kid is motivated by what is a recurring theme throughout Majora's Mask: fear. Majora's Mask teaches us that our fears have effects on others, they have effects on us. Skull Kid is most afraid of being alone and friendless, and when you're afraid, you can easily be manipulated. This is why Majora's Mask attracts Skull Kid. Unlike Ganon, who destroys people physically, the mask plays on people's fears and wears them down psychologically. Skull Kid becomes the perfect vehicle for mischief and villainy. The mask is fueled by the fears of the wearer, and its effects branch out everywhere. Skull Kid meets the butler's son and turns him into a tree. What's the worst fear of any father? Losing a child. Skull Kid meets Café and turns him into a young, awkward boy. What's the worst fear of a lover? Never uniting with his love. Skull Kid causes panic in Termina by pulling the moon down. What's the worst fear of a mayor? Not having the political know-how to save a city's situation. Skull Kid meets you and turns you into a Deku Scrub. What's the worst fear of a hero? Being helpless and weak. This evil manipulation continues throughout the game, in many more instances, culminating in the final act.
Oh, it's a demon.
Majora's Mask makes its last attempt to manipulate you, the hero. He plays on all the hero's fears. What is the right thing? Does it really make everyone happy? Does it make you happy to make others happy? Do your friends think of you as a friend? What is your real face? The face behind the mask. Is that your real face? These questions, asked by the 4 children in the meadow, are not philosophical, but antagonistic. Majora's Mask's goal is to make you second-guess your own worth and effectiveness as a hero. It plants the seeds of doubt, trying to pull at your heartstrings in an uncomfortable way. It knows you care deeply for those you try day after repetitive day to help, and it knows you fear you did not do all you could for them. It makes one last attempt to confuse your morality, making you play the bad guy in the final fight. What's the worst fear of a hero than realizing he may not have been doing good after all?
Wow.
This makes Majora one of the most dynamically built up final boss fights, because you also can't forget all of the bonds you formed over the game. They serve as the greatest motivation to fight Majora. You really have the whole world behind you on this one. I say that Majora's Mask is a deep game because underlying all of the masks, characters, and quests are the deep questions of real life. What would you do differently if you could relive one moment? Are things in life worth regretting? Questions like these can be answered if one lives in the time loop. Having the special knowledge of things to happen and things to come, you gain an appreciation for consequences. You know what's going to happen if you don't stop Sakan from robbing the old woman. You know what's going to happen if you don't stop the aliens at Romani, or the thieves on the road to Termina.
There's aliens in this
You know what's going to happen if you don't listen to a troubled heart or teach sisters to dance. You can see the difference a little kindness makes, and come to realize that the small things in life do matter.
Hey. You know that's a real dance.
The moon is falling. Link was able to enlist the help of the 4 giants that slumbered within the land of Termina. With their help in stopping the moon, Link freed possessed Skull Kid from Majora. After a hard battle, Link defeated the wicked entity. Might have to hit it again.
Oh, I think it's start playing.
With Termina now saved and the spirit of Majora sealed back in the mask, the time loop spell is now broken and peace is restored to Termina. We now enter the 4th day. He's awake. Still with no pants. You guys hadn't forgot about me. You should do his voice because I don't know what it sounds like.
Why? I did so many bad things.
Yes, you did.
The
Why me? Bad people. Shouldn't they be punished? I deserve to be alone.
Oh.
Abandoned. Huh? Link? You.
You're different. The difference is that you've always had people who've cared about you.
You're lying.
We know who you are. You have a kind soul.
No, I
We
don't.
had to save you from that darkness. You never do those bad things. We would have wanted the same from you if you ever did something wrong. Even at your worst, we would never turn a blind eye to a friend.
Shut up. Friend? I don't have any friends. Why don't you just leave me alone?
They're saying friend.
Oh, it's a giant. So you have to say it in like a giant's voice.
They're saying friend.
No, slower.
They're saying friend.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
If you can call someone a friend, you will stay bonded together no matter what. That's what it's saying. Oh, you need some pants too. Jeez.
What do they need pants for? They don't have genitals. You got woman legs.
Yeah. The other one.
Yeah.
There it is, yeah. There's genitals somewhere. You can tell the difference.
I thought they had forgotten about me. They never did. Friends. Friends are a nice thing to have. You smell just like the fairy boy. I think there's somebody else.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's the mask collector.
Well now, I finally have it back. Since I'm in the midst of my travels, I must bid you farewell.
Need to destroy that mask.
Shouldn't you be on your way as well? Hero of time? Whenever there's a meeting.
Something, something.
However, the parting need not last forever. Whether a parting be forever or merely for a short time. That's up to you.
managed to make quite a number of people happy. The masks you have are filled with happiness. True happiness.
True happiness.
True happiness.
Because he's sneaky.
Is what people strive to make others happy rather than themselves.
No, do the other voice.
Maybe then everyone could be happy.
Are you happy?
And he's gone.
Dang, he just disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Took that curse mask with him.
Yeah, need to destroy it, put it in the fire. Well, both of us have gotten what we were after. So, this is where you and I part ways. You know, it was kind of fun. Hey, new friend. I know you're in a rush to find your friend. But I was just wondering. Now that we're all here, would you want to play together for real this time? Oh, they made a mural.
There we go. So every time you come back to the forest, you'll be reminded of our friendship.
Yay. Thank you, Link. Bye-bye.
I'll see you later, Link. Take care, my friend.
I hope you find your friend. Let us meet again. Live the rest of your days happy. Years have passed since the events of Majora's Mask. Link, who has now become a young man, has decided to return to the land of Hyrule and visit the princess.
And that's where the first episode of the series that we initially started, that's where it took off. Because he was returning to the land as an adult, and he had ran across Skull Kid in the forest. And he was like, let's play.
The ocarina.
Right, yeah.
Wow, that was pretty good.
And so then now the story is, it's where we're at right now in episode 2. I believe he went to the kingdom, and he found the princess, and he talked to her, and she was in the middle of getting training from Impa. And so that's where we're going to continue the story in our next video. Cool. So guys, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What were your thoughts overall?
This was pretty good. I was wondering why the mask was kept intact, because even the salesman who had the mask, when he pulled it out or it fell, he was like, he couldn't move. And it seemed like it had some like evil power or possession. Right. And then it felt like when the elf Skull Kid came,
it took over.
It pulled him in.
Right.
And he put it on and he couldn't take it off.
Right, yeah.
And all these bad things that it made him do, it made me feel like it should be destroyed.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And so I do want to know, like, who made the mask? Where did it come from? Why is it here? But I thought it was really nice that although Skull Kid went through all of that, Link and the fairies was still his friends. The giants was still his friends. and forgave him.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
I'm not too sure of that. So, of course, guys, if y'all know any answers to those questions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comment section. Because I think with Nintendo, they kind of left it open-ended so that they could use Majora's Mask maybe in a later game or in something else in another Legend of Zelda in the universe or whatever. So they didn't really explain what exactly happened after that, or if the mask was completely destroyed, or even who the mask salesperson was, because it would make sense. Like if the mask is that powerful, that where it could paralyze the salesperson to where somebody could take it or take the mask or whatever or steal it, then why would he keep it in his possession and not destroy it?
Yeah.
So
crazy.
a lot of answers at the end, but yeah, this was one of the more philosophical or introspective Zelda games.
Oh.
So not all the Zelda games are like this.
I do want to ask you though, because I felt like there's a life lesson in it, and it kind of just made me think of some things because Skull Kid, he was afraid of being alone. That was his worst fear, and the mask kind of pulled that out of you.
Right.
But Link was going through like trials and tribulations, and he had to live the same 3 days over and over again.
Right.
And he had the choice whether to still make friends with the town people, teach them, befriend them, and the question that was posed was, would you still go out your way to make people happy?
Right.
Even though you keep living the 3 days over and over again. And the main point in this was happiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought that was like really cool, because I think happiness is something that people are always in the pursuit of.
Absolutely.
And it actually made me think of like in my senior year in high school, when they asked like, where do you see yourself, or what do you want to do, how do you want your life to be? And I remember just saying I just wanted to be happy.
Yeah. I think that is a serious life lesson that they give within this game, because on another level, it could be if you had 3 days to live, how would you live your life? Would you continue to do the things that you do? Would you try to attempt to make people around you happy, or would you just do nothing? And essentially, that's what happened to Link.
Yeah.
He was transformed into a Deku Scrub, which is like this another creature or whatever in that Zelda universe, and it's kind of like, are you still going to be the hero, or are you just going to sit there and mope with the situation, the hand that you've been dealt? And Link, as a character, he's a hero through and through. So no matter what situation he's in, he's always going to persevere, and he's always going to do things in order to make things right. And I think when you're playing the game, you're playing it with that mindset. Like, I have to do this mission because I want to save the world. I want to save the people around me. And I ultimately, I think that's the lesson behind it.
Yeah, very
or,
good
or
lesson.
a lesson behind
Yeah.
it. But guys, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let us know what you thought down below. And as always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see y'all next time. Take care. Peace.
Bye.